Now, we spoke about asking questions earlier, and I mentioned that questions in general end with rising intonation to emphasize the asking of a question. And that is correct in 90% of cases. But there are some questions, some types of questions, that use falling intonation as well. Now, I hope you guys know what question tags are. Question tags are phrases like, isn't it, aren't you, which are used at the end of sentences, at the end of statements to create questions. I'm not going to go into the details of question tags. If you want any help with question tags, contact me and let me know. Yeah, but we use question tags to make a statement and then turn that statement into a question. Now, sometimes when we're doing this, you perhaps will definitely not know what the answer to the question is, and in which case you would use falling intonation. But perhaps you're asking a question and you're either 100% sure or you suspect you know what the answer to the question is, and in that case you use rising intonation with your question tags. Okay, so for example, that was a great movie, wasn't it? That was a great movie, wasn't it? I don't know what your opinion is, so I'm using falling intonation. That was a great movie, wasn't it? Whereas if I see the look on your face and you've really enjoyed yourself, that was a great movie, wasn't it? Yeah, rising intonation because I suspect I know the answer to the question. Yeah. So questions can use falling and rising intonation depending on the type of question and how you're using it. Yeah. Question tags are great things, and I highly recommend that you use question tags in your IELTS exam to ask a question. Yeah. Go back to one of the previous lessons about asking questions for more details. Okay. Comments, criticism and suggestions. These are all things that you will probably be asked to do in your IELTS. To make a comment about something. I like something, I dislike something. Comments, very, very similar to statements, require falling intonation. Whereas if you're going to criticise something, actually, I don't like ice cream. I don't like chocolate. It requires rising intonation. It's not you're not making a comment or a statement, it's criticism that you're doing. Criticism requires rising intonation. Whereas a suggestion requires falling intonation. So, no, I don't like ice cream. Why don't you have an apple instead? Yeah? I don't like ice cream. Why don't you have an apple instead? So rising and falling intonation for criticism and suggestions. That is something that you should try and do, because whenever you're going to criticise something and say it's not good, you should always have a suggestion on how it could be better. Yeah? So remember, rising followed by falling. We can also use intonation to emphasise our emotions. Here are just some emotions that you can emphasise. Excitement. If something is exciting, it should always have rising intonation. That was amazing! Yeah? Oh, that is brilliant! So whenever you are trying to express your excitement, your joy, your enthusiasm for something, make sure it has rising intonation. Think of all those words, all of those adjectives that you know that describe something happy and joyful and wonderful. Every single one of those words, one of those positive words, should have rising intonation. All of your negative words should have falling intonation. Ooh, I'm not sure. I didn't like that. Yeah, so doubt requires falling intonation. Importance. If something is important, it requires rising intonation. Yeah, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter where in your sentence it is. If you deem that a particular word or group of words in your sentence are important, make sure you use rising intonation for those words. Okay, and finally, contrasting. Yeah? Contrasting is another skill that you will probably have to demonstrate in your exam. You know, comparing where you live to somewhere else. You know, let's say London and New York. Okay, so usually when you're contrasting, the first thing you are describing would have rising intonation, and the second thing would have falling intonation. Yeah, so let me try and give you an example. Well, I like London, but I don't like New York. London is a great city. New York is a horrible city. Yeah? So I'm contrasting. Obviously I'm using the positive, negative. Yeah? You can mix these around and go negative, positive if you want to, but it's generally more acceptable to go positive, negative. Yeah? So anything positive you're saying should have rising intonation, remember? Excitement's important. Anything negative should have, like doubt, should have falling intonation. So when you're contrasting two things, yeah, you're not comparing, for example, you are contrasting rising and falling intonation. Okay, so this has been a very, very brief introduction to what intonation or word stress is, why it's important, and how you can use it to improve your IELTS speaking exam score. Now, the whole realm of intonation and word stress, you know, there are thousands of books that have been written on this subject, intonation and word stress. So it's impossible for me to cover it in just a few videos. It requires 50 videos on each of the different elements of word stress. It's a very, very big category of part of the English language. But with these simple ideas that I've given you, you can practice these very, very simple ideas, and you can use them to improve how you say something in your IELTS exam. And how you say something in your IELTS exam is what is being measured in your IELTS exam. Yeah? What you say is important, but how you say it, what stress and emphasis you give, what importance you associate or you attach to the words is actually more important in your IELTS exam. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed learning a little bit about stress and intonation.